So, Mr. Chris Kubby.
Yeah! Yeah! All right, Pubster!
Thank you. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Great. My name is Chris Coverness. My friends call me Kubby. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a Snapchatter. Recently, I'm a vlogger. I saw all the cool kids doing that, so I was like, okay, I better start vlogging fast. So we put up our first vlog like literally 3 days ago, and we're doing that. I'm here to talk to you guys about why Snapchat doesn't matter. And I know you guys are looking at me like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? We're here for Snapchat. Why is he not talking about Snapchat and why that's the greatest thing on the planet? We have a bigger issue than Snapchat. We have a much bigger issue, and that is that this thing here, this thing has fundamentally changed everything. This has changed how we live our lives. This has changed how we interact with people. This thing has changed everything about us and our cultures. And we're talking about marketing channels. We're talking about how do we use Snapchat to sell our product. And that's the wrong questions. That's the wrong way of looking at this. And that's why I really wanted to talk to you guys today about this. How many people are agency? I think Sean did this, but I didn't see. How many people are agency? Okay, how many people are influencers? Creators? All these people? Okay, so it's like a good mix. Who just like stumbled in here and didn't know what the hell that was? One guy. Nazim, I know you came here on purpose. So we have a mix of people here, right? So my main message here for you guys today is I'm going to try to inspire you guys to go to your brands that you're working with, go to the agencies that you're doing business with, and convince them that they need to totally change everything, totally change the way they're looking at the world. And I know this is a big ask, but I think there's enough power in this room. I think there's enough influence in this room to actually nail this over the next couple of years. Because fundamentally, advertising sucks shit. It is the biggest thing we're scared of. Actually, it's not the biggest thing. There's two things we're scared of. One is no Wi-Fi. There's three things. Two is no battery life on our device. And three is advertising. And you could see that when you start to look at your feed, for example, on Instagram or on Facebook or Twitter. How many people are like, they see something that looks like advertising and they're like, oh fuck, gotta scroll past that as soon as possible. How many people do this? You guys are lying. Everybody does it, right? The thing is that we fundamentally hate advertising. And brands still think that this is the world we live in. They still think that they can run their buy this for $99 ad on Facebook. They still think that they can try to, do some conversion metrics, try to get you in the funnel, and try to convert you. But the thing is that we don't care about that anymore. We care about people. We care about brands that connect to us, not to sell to us, but to inform us, to entertain us, and bring us value. And you can see that by what people are watching. Kids are watching Sean Duras. Where's Sean Duras? He left. He was like, I'm out of here. Kids are watching Sean Duras. They're watching Casey Neistat. They're not watching your branded content. Now, you could argue that Sean Duras, Casey Neistat, they're doing branded content, and I think that's a really great way of getting into it. And Sean really touched on this thing of, it's gotta make sense. It can't be advertising. It can't be like, this message is brought to you by Doritos. Nobody's gonna watch that shit. And it's going to hurt your brand in the long run. You don't buy Nikes because you saw an ad. How many people are Nike fans? Lots of people here. Why do you buy Nikes? Do you buy Nikes?
Yeah.
Rock on. Why do you buy them?
Because they're dope shoes.
They're dope shoes. Have you always bought them?
Yeah, I've been collecting Jordans for years.
Yeah. He buys Nikes because when he was 5 years old, his parents bought him Nikes. And that he loved that brand. And then his friends bought Nikes. And then his friends bought Nikes. And then he saw Air Jordan wearing those Nikes. Today or Air Jordan, Michael Jordan. Today's Michael Jordans are Sean Duras, Casey Neistat, right? And brands need to tap into this, and they need to tap into it now. Because this thing's the atomic bomb. And we're still playing around talking about marketing channels and metrics and shit like that. And it doesn't matter. Absolutely doesn't matter. I've seen it. I work for brands, like I have a small digital agency, and we can see it when the brand managers get involved and start thinking about, we really need to see some ROI. Bring us some ROI on this. We need an ad. We need something that's a sell. We need to say, hey, buy this product. The engagement goes into the crapper immediately. We lose fans. We don't sell shit. But they still think that this is the way to go about it. And that's why I need you guys, every single one of you guys in this crowd, to go back to whatever you're doing. If you're an agency, if you're working with brands, you're working with influencers, whatever you're doing, you need to go back to those and say, listen guys, please, we need to look at this differently. We need to look at the world differently. We don't need to look at conversion metrics anymore. We need to look at how do we engage people and how do we get them interested in what we're doing for the long term. Everybody's looking at making the sale next week when it's really the sale in 10 years. It's really the sale that he did here and continues to make every 6 months that matters. Because that brand loyalty, that's where the gold sits. That's where all the money sits. So, I think I got that point across. Does everybody understand that? Okay, great. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys today about is the power of Snapchat. I know I said that I'm not, this is not about Snapchat, but it actually is. And Snapchat, in a way, has changed the way we communicate and the way that we produce content. One of the things that I find super interesting these days is how authenticity is becoming a big sort of thing in the world. How many people have heard, okay, authenticity, you've got to be authentic, all that kind of stuff? Lots of people, I'm guessing. Have you heard that? Like, people are talking about authenticity big time? Okay, here's the thing. There's always going to be a level of production. So if you're working with brands, if you're working with agencies, you need to tell them, you need to show them that they can still produce content for Snapchat with still some control. Because that's the big issue that a lot of brands have. For example, I work with a lot of brands who quickly went to Instagram stories. Why? Because it was comfortable. It wasn't dick pics. Well, maybe there's a few in there. Just a few. And that's really important to notice about Snapchat, is that there's this big stigma in the industry that Snapchat is rogue. Snapchat isn't for us. It's not safe. When really hey, what's up, buddy? Really, they should be thinking about, you threw me off, dude.
Sorry.
They went to Instagram stories because it was safe. Safe. This word safe, this is a fucking killer. This word safe is bullshit. This is why brands are having trouble and brands are dying in this age. Because they're playing it safe. They think that they can just remove the risk and get all the upside. Risk and reward are together. You have the risk, you get the reward. That's the thing. So when we talk about Snapchat not mattering, it really comes down to, there's going to be another platform that comes out. Guaranteed. We're just waiting for that. But brands, they stand in the background and go, we're going to wait. We're going to see if this thing turns out okay. When really they should be taking a research and development approach to everything they do and saying, we're going to try this shit out. We're going to try Snapchat. We don't know if it's going to work. But if we don't take part in this, we're going to miss out fundamentally, because technology and culture are one. Let me say that again. Technology and culture are one. The word snap has become part of our culture. We understand when someone says snap me, we understand what that means. When someone says gram me, or send me a gram, or that was good on the gram, that's become a part of our nomenclature. That's become a part of our language. That's really, really strong. When a platform, when a technology becomes a part of everything we do, that's massive. That's totally changing the game. And that's why I say that it doesn't matter about marketing channels. It matters that this thing is cultural. It's like Christmas. This thing is like Christmas. How big of a part is Christmas in your lives? Something you do every year. It's like a brand saying, we don't want to participate in Christmas this year. We don't think that's going to work out. What's the ROI on Christmas? For fuck's sakes. We don't like that. All the young kids are doing Christmas. That's not for us. They're sending naughty presents to themselves at Christmas. That's not us at all. It's like that. It's like you decided as a brand to say, we're not going to participate in culture. And that's what it really is. Is Facebook a part of our culture? It's almost a part of the global culture. Wouldn't you agree? There's not a single person on this planet that doesn't live their lives almost fully on Facebook. Now that's changing for the younger demographic, and we have to realize that as well. Is that their culture is going to be different than our culture. One of the things that I find is like super interesting that somebody brought up to me was that the reason why this is all happening, and the reason why I say we need to wake up and deal with this from a branding, from a marketing, from a life perspective, is that our parents, my parents, they lived in a generation of the Cold War. They lived in a generation of that surveillance, and communism was like lurking, and you didn't want to be seen. They were worried about being bugged by the enemy. Our generation is bugged when we're not surveilled, when we don't get the likes, when we don't get people looking at us. And that's a total generational shift. So you have CEOs, CFOs, all these guys that are running these companies, even CMOs, that have lived in this generation. And they don't get it. And they're rolling their eyes in the back of their head whenever you mention Snapchat. And they are losing big time. Because they haven't woken the fuck up and said, Snapchat is culture. If we don't take part in culture, no one will be interested in us, and we will die. I was working for a company a little while ago, one of the biggest tech companies in Northern Europe, and we were talking about Snapchat. I think I convinced them to do Snapchat, which is pretty amazing. But they were talking about, well, our buyers aren't on Snapchat. I mean, the people that we sell to are these big IT projects, right? None of our customers are doing that. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. I don't see a lot of your customers there. I mean, they're typically like middle-aged men that wear pocket protectors. So they're probably not your core group of Snapchat. But I said, what about your employees? Who are your employees? And actually, at the same time that I said that, they came up with this, they said to me, actually, you know, we're having a little bit of a hard time hiring people. I said, oh, what's going on there? They said, well, we have a lot of job openings, but nobody wants to apply. This is a big IT firm, like a banner IT firm that anybody would want a nice job with, right? And I started thinking about this. I said, it's because you guys didn't move with the times. None of these college kids wants to work for your stanky ass because you didn't grow. You didn't get on Snapchat. You didn't get on YouTube. You did it when it was safe, and there was no way for you to win on that platform because it was too noisy. You didn't engage with all these people. So when these kids came out of college, you could have been talking to them that whole entire time. You could have been showing how awesome it is to work for your company. You could have been showing them the free massages on Friday. You could have been showing them, hey, there's a really cool car that you get if you work with us. You could have been showing them, this is the cool projects that we're working on. It's big data, and we're getting into VR, and we're getting into this, and we're getting into that. But they chose not to. And so when college kids get out of college, they say, I'm going to build my own startup. I'm not going to go work for this big brand. And that's what we're seeing in the marketplace right now. Nobody wants to go work for, well, some people want to go work for IBM, but very little. Very little say, I want the safe job. No, they're saying, I want to make my own startup. I want to go work for Uber. I want to go work for Twitter. Well, maybe not Twitter. I want to go work. Nobody wants to work for Twitter. Not even Jack wants to work for Twitter. Like, nobody wants to work for Twitter, right? So this is where I say that it's like culture. It's like they said, we don't want to participate in culture. And they're losing because of it. And you don't even need to be on Snapchat. You don't even need to be sitting there with a camera. Find some, pretty young intern to sit there, and do Snapchat all day. You could run geo filters at your company. And so when people that are of that persuasion can snap, they can actually see, oh shit, our company logo, or quotes from our CEO, or little things about what kind of products we sell, or what kind of cool projects we're doing, or whatever. And they're not even getting into it. They're just dismissing it as, that's not for us. And I think this is a fundamental problem. So when we sit up here and we talk about channels, marketing, what are you doing specifically? What tactics are you doing? I think that's all fine. I think it's fine that everyone here learns about how to do that. I think it's fine that, Sean Duras or any of these influencers come up and say, how do you do a branded thing? How do you do this? I think that's fine. I'm all about the tactics myself. But I think we need to look at the bigger picture here. We need to go back and we need to convince the CEO, the CFO, the CIO, the big time marketing manager that the world has changed. And I know that's a tough uphill battle, but I'm counting on you guys to do this. Because your companies that you work for will die if they don't. They will not be around. And that's sad because a lot of companies employ a lot of people. And we need that. We need those companies to grow up, get their shit together, so that we can continue innovating, making new products, making better services, and carrying on the world that we live in. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's all from me. I really hope that this has inspired you guys. And my snap code is up there. That's a no-no, right? Apparently. You guys could follow me. I totally broke the laws of Snapchat. But follow me on Snapchat. Come hang out with me. Whatever you want to do, just let me know. Okay? Thank you guys.